happens after you publish that paper? What happens now?
I, I mean, the same thing we do every day, Pinky, try to take over the world. You know what I mean? Uh, it's just back to business as usual. It's a mile marker. It's a tool. It's a resource. It's something that is intended to empower our community
Right.
and our fellow advocates and activists out there, so that they can go into meetings informed, confident, and with the knowledge that they are on the right side of history. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Absolutely.
And it provides you with a certain kind of swagger when you go into those rooms armed with that knowledge.
Shit crazy. Smoke to get my mind right. Chillin'. Trying to get my grind right. Fight for a split. Smoke just to chill. Waiting on the president. Shit getting real. Looking in my resume. Niggas told still.
G here from the Stone Vet USMC. Happy Friday to you guys, man. It's finally here. If you work 9 to 5 Monday through Friday, Friday's here. The week is coming to an end. But for some of you, if this is your Monday, I'm sorry, but go ahead and hang out with us. You know, we always got some craziness going on here at the Stone Vet. Always talking about hanging out and just being with each other. That's the purpose of the show, is to build the camaraderie that we lost once we got out. That's the biggest struggle that we have as brothers and sisters, is having that camaraderie. Some people I've interviewed so far, as you can tell, said they never had that camaraderie when they was in service, which is bewildering of me to think that you don't have the camaraderie while you serving. I said in the Marine Corps, we tight. Even if we don't like you, we tight. But it's Friday. The barbecue grill's going. It's been a long week. Hopefully, it ain't been too stressful. And now we're here together just to hang out and just shoot the crap for a little bit. I got a brother here. He's an army guy. You know how I feel about these army guys. They love coming on the Stone Vet. They love talking to me and hanging out with me. I love the army guys, man. They all something, over there with veteran trash talk. You know all them army guys. They always talking about they big and bad and all this other stuff, right? But when they got to come on the Stone Vet USMC, we know how that. You know what? We know the nonsense is gonna happen. I got Rico here. Rico's a great man. He's doing some amazing things in the cannabis community. Like I said, though, he spent some time in the army. How you doing, Rico? How you been today?
I'm good, brother. Thank you for having me on here. I look forward to the shenanigans.
Absolutely, man. That's what it's about. I mean, it's Friday. We get to hang out, get to unwind a little bit from the stressful week that we've had. Hopefully, it ain't been too bad. You know, it can get sometimes, man. Life happens and life gets hard, and we get stressed out very easily. And being a vet, it's not hard to stress us out real fast. You know, we can get stressed out on things that just didn't go our way, or nobody wants to listen to why we want to do the things that we want to do, and it can be frustrating. That's why I do the show, so people can pull up or can pull it up every Friday and just hang out for a little bit, at least hang out for an hour or so with us, just to hear what we got to say and how we can provide a purpose for them again. I think that's the biggest thing, is that when we get out of service, we ain't got a purpose anymore. When you're in, you got somebody telling you what to do every day of your life, Monday, Sunday through Saturday. Somebody's telling you what to do, when to do, how to do it. And when you get out, it's like, the hell am I supposed to be doing? Ain't nobody telling me when to go to work, when to come back, when to go to lunch, when to come out of lunch, when to go home. You know. And the biggest thing is trying to find a purpose again. So you spent some time in the army. Why don't you tell us about your little journey through the army? How the army took care of you for a little while?
Yeah, like I said, I served in the military police corps from 2003 to 2009, and started off my journey in Fort Leonard Wood in 2003 doing OSUT, basic training, AIT piled into one. So 5 months of joy,
5 months
and
in Fort
got to
Leonard.
experience.
Everybody love
I
Fort
got to
Leonard.
experience all the seasons there, doing all the fun stuff, tornado drills and all that other jazz. And then bounced over to Stuttgart, Germany, and met the team that I would be deploying with. And our platoon bounced out to Iraq from 2004 to 2005. And then when I got back in '05, hopped back over to stateside and just wasn't really digging the military thing anymore, man. And my military bearing went out the window, and I ended up doing 3 years of medical board stuff. Finally got my discharge paperwork in '09.
And that's a big thing. I mean, especially when once you go over to Iraq or Afghanistan, either one. I mean, it was both during the same time era because like you said, you came in '03. I was already in '01. It breaks a lot of people, dude. The freaking deployments break a lot of people. And the army guys, you guys stay over there forever for whatever reason. I don't know why, but the army always stays a year plus, and I'm like, why, dude? We do like 8, 9 months, and then it's like, all right, it's time to go. Like we've been here way too long. It's time to get back home. And like, I was like, that's crazy. Because my whole family, my uncles, my uncle, my dad, they were all army, and they were gone. My dad was in Afghanistan. I was in Iraq. My uncle was in Iraq, and they were like, I was like, why do you stay over here so long? Like, I said, that's what happens. I say, we go over there, we blow shit up, get it all blown up, destroy the cities, and then we send the army in to go clean everything up and make everybody friends again. Let them know, oh, Americans are here. They're going to take care of us. And just with something like
doesn't
that,
work
like you
like
said after your deployment, you're like, I came back and you started dealing with the medical crap. You're like, I can't do this. Like like you said, Will started falling off because you're like, what is wrong with me? Why am I so screwed up? How was that? How was that journey for you during the whole freaking medical discharge stuff?
Well, it was a series of things, right? I'm not a dumb man, right? And when I see certain things going down, like I saw when I was in Baghdad and the surrounding areas, and I was in Iraq, and when I was in the military and shit, that don't really vibe with my moral compass and shit, it fucks me up. And then when I come back and I see a populace, a citizenry, a people that I went and supposedly fought for, that's so disconnected from the reality of the situation on the ground, it disturbs my soul.
Right.
And so I didn't know how to write everything that I had seen and everything that I was feeling and trying to process and come to terms with so that I can identify really if there was anything for me to do, right? And I had come to a point where I contemplated suicide.
Like we all do.
And just right. I mean, I'm not going to say all of us, but a good majority of us like come to that point where it's being thought of. And unfortunately, far too many of us go further than that. So it was definitely a low point of my life for sure. And I lost a lot of material things. I lost relationships that were dear to me in the course of that time.
Right.
But it brought me to where I am today and the work that it is that I do.
Right.
And for that, I'm grateful. And because of it, I wouldn't trade it for anything. Although I do not recommend anybody try to follow in my footsteps, right? Please learn from the mistakes that I've made and do not try to repeat them for your own whatever experiment. But it's made me who I am. And without those experiences, without that knowledge that I've been able to glean from them, I would not be able to do the work that I need to do today.
Right. It's understandable. Like you said, you contemplate suicide, It's like I always mention on every episode that we do. Every day every time I get to do an episode, I got to think about the brother or sister we're losing while we're shooting the episode. Because like they said, it's 22 a day. 22 a day is somebody's taking their life. A brother and sister taking their life because why? They couldn't find their purpose again. And that's the biggest thing. That's the biggest struggle I believe that majority of us have is we don't have a good support system. We don't have a strong support system to help us when we're down and out. And we're just like, what do I do? Where do I go? I ain't got no money. I ain't got nothing to lean back on. I don't have a support system. I don't have anything. And it's like, well, what the crap is going on, dude? Like, why are we? What happened? Why was there not enough resources out there? Because that's the hardest part from the transition. I mean, when you transition from active duty, you know, you go to a week-long class and they're like, oh, this is enough time for you to transition into becoming a civilian again. And you're like, how in the hell is a week-long class going to transition me to be a civilian again? Like for me, when I joined the Marine Corps, I was 17 years old. I was 17 when I joined the Marine Corps. I got out of the Marine Corps, I was like 25. And I was like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what the hell am I supposed to be doing? Like, I've lived, this has been my whole life for the past 9 years. Like, what am I supposed to be doing now to try to relate to people who have never served in the military, who have been doing the same thing they've been doing since they were freaking 10, 12 years old? And you're like, I've seen things and I've done things that you don't even want to have nightmares about. And yet I'm supposed to relate to you and be able to work with you and, you know, be able to do things and taskings together with you. And it's like, I don't know, you know. And that's what sucks. You know, how you said you contemplated suicide. And, you know, a vast majority of us have. A vast majority of us have contemplated it. And like you said, majority of us usually take that extra step. And every time I shoot this episode, we always think about somebody's taking their life. One of our brothers, one of us is taking their life. And then I came to find out that not only are they taking their life through suicide, but also the opioid addiction that we suffer as veterans, that the VA continues pounding it down our throats on a regular basis. The last number that I read was like 35 veterans a day are suffering from opioid addiction. Maybe you got something more because you are the man behind the green paper, right? So when you transition from the military, you said you were a little bit of a unicorn, right? You said your transition was a little bit easier than the majority of people who transition out of the army, right? Why don't you tell us a little bit about your transition, how you transitioned from active duty to civilian, how that transition was?
Well, so I was still active duty when I started to go through VA appointments and stuff like that. And I had immediately gone into the VFW and got a life membership. Just paid for life membership so I didn't have to worry about dues. And then there was a cat there by the name of Frenchie who I had let known what was going on, right? And he agreed to do my paperwork. And he said, you know, don't worry, kid, I'll take care of this for you. Just go to the appointments, do whatever they tell you to do. All right. But yes, sir.
You had a good
okay,
VSO. You had a good VSO.
I really did. I really did. And that's why I bring his name up every time I tell it, man. Frenchie, he helped me out. I didn't have to worry about any of that paperwork. I just did what he told me to do. I went to the appointments. And I was honest with the people when they asked me the questions of whatever they were asking. I did the work, in other words.
Right.
And so I knew, because of my clearance, because of the nature of my job and my primary function in the military, that as soon as I started talking about PTSD or whatever, or issues, sleeping or whatever, no go. Flag, non-deployable, this and that, so on and so forth. Good luck getting promoted. Good luck, whatever, shitbird. And so, sure, I mean, it happened like I feared it would. But at that point, I knew it was going to, but I also knew that it needed to, because there was no way I was going to be able to continue on the way things were going. So it just was what it was, and I was in it for the ride.
Right.
And so I got put on that TDRL is what they call it. And my command was like, yo, you're fucked. Just stay home. They put me on convalescent leave. And legit, I was on convalescent leave for the last 6 months of my active duty service.
Oh, wow.
And they just told me to stay the fuck at home. Don't come to work. And so my place of business, my place of duty was at my counselor's office, my therapist's office, and the VA hospital. And then going back and forth to the various whatevers.
Right.
And so that became routine. And by the time I received my decision from the military on what they were going to do, were they going to bring me back in? Were they going to sever and give me my discharge, whatever?
Yeah,
it turned out to be the latter. They gave me my honorable discharge, medically retired. And then the VA had already given me their shit because of Frenchie and the paperwork that he had done.
Right.
So as soon as I got that, in the mail, I was 100% P&T, good to go. and didn't have to worry about that shit. And
That's
then
awesome.
my counselor suggested that I go to look into this class or this course that was going on at the University of Arizona, supportive education for returning veterans. And it was being put on through this center, the Veterans Education Transition Services Center on campus, essentially the academic VSO,
Oh
right?
wow.
And so I went over there and I met all the people that were doing their things, and it energized me. And speaking of purpose, that's how I got turned on to a new purpose, right?
Right.
Which was volunteering and giving back.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I mean, so yeah, like you said, you were a unicorn. You did have people helping you, getting you where you needed to be. So when you got out, you weren't struggling, trying to figure out like a majority of us, especially on the listener side, the majority of us,
Like the majority.
we ain't got no we ain't got no savings account. We decided to get out because we don't want to do it no more. And yet when we get out, we're like, what the hell am I supposed to do? Because I ain't got a paycheck coming in anymore. I don't have a paycheck coming the first 15th anymore of the month anymore. And it's like, fuck, all I got is whatever money's in my account, which ain't much, which isn't a lot. And to think, what the hell am I supposed to do? And that's the thing. That's the thing. I try to stress to people is providing resources for them. Go to school. Use your GI Bill. It ain't gotta be college. You can go to trade school, whatever. Go to school and get something
Absolutely.
so you can find a
Dude,
job.
plumbers make bank,
You
bro.
know,
There's trade schools you can make bank. You can make a
bank.
lot of money using like, yeah, it's I don't know why people don't bring that up more often, but
Yeah,
um even now, like I talk to my friends and we're looking into courses of like woodworking or whatever, this and that, just so that we could be able to help each other out. We could be able to do our own things when they pop up. It's useful knowledge, useful
no,
skills.
absolutely. It's very useful to know, and that's why I try to tell people. I say you ain't got to go to college. Don't go to college. I mean, hell, go pick up a trade.
If you don't,
What are you into? You auto mechanics,
yeah,
woodworking. I mean, go get into. You want to do freaking. You want to be an illustrator. You want to get into computer science. You want to do something on computers. Go to trade school. Pick up the certificates you need while you're there, and then you can start your own business doing whatever you need to do because you learned it. You learned what you needed that you couldn't figure out, and then you're getting paid while you're going to school, while you're collecting your unemployment. You know what I'm saying? You're collecting your unemployment, and now you're getting paid to go to school. Like there's no reason why you're not going to school. You know, a lot
well,
of people. Go ahead.
ideally we would be able to prevent that, right?
Right,
Prevent that unemployment part.
right,
And if we're really being honest about the situation, each of us has access to free education while we're in the military
right,
branches that we're
right.
serving in, right? So for while I was in the Army, I can go and I could take whatever participating university was offering courses, and I
Yes.
could just go over there, meet with my advisor, come up with a plan, and then go for it. So ideally, you would already have those credentials in hand when you get out, so
Yeah.
that you could either use the GI Bill or education benefits that are there for you afterwards to pursue a trade school that you could bone up, right? I got
Right.
this, higher education degree and these certified trade skills, double
Right.
trouble. Ooh.
Yeah.
And then, or if you want, you could use the GI Bill to pursue like a doctorate or something to
Right. Yeah,
really
absolutely.
go that extra mile.
Right. No, absolutely.
But
Absolutely.
there's ways that we can ease these transitions for sure.
And like I said, the transition usually suck. 90% of the people I bring on my show, they'll tell you they're like, my transition sucked. They gave me a week to get my resume written. They tried to hook me up with a VSO to try to get my disability going. And they're like, it sucked, dude. Like I didn't get the necessities I needed to get out. Like I didn't know, like, a lot of people, like you as a cop, people's like, oh, you as a cop in the military, you could be a cop when you get out. And you're like,
Right.
no, no, I can't. Well, it's like, no, I can't. That's a whole different type of job. That's a whole different
It's
thing.
a different ball.
You know, and
Yeah.
and there's a lot of jobs that unless you were like an Intel, unless you were working like Intel or Com or something that you actually could learn some things in, it's like, what do I do? How do I write a resume for what I've done for the past 4 years, 14 years, or whatever the case may be, to get me a job, to land me a job, what I've learned, And there's no, the resources aren't there. The resources aren't there for our brothers that are getting out, for our family members that are getting out of service. It's just not there. And it sucks to see it because a lot of, I had Brandon on my show not too long ago. He's a transition coach. He said, dude, do you know how many veterans get out every year? He says like 200,000 veterans that either retire or EAS get out of the military a year. I was, that's a lot of freaking vets, dude. He's like, yeah, and don't none of, and 90% of them don't know what the hell they're gonna do once they get out. Like if they ain't retiring, it's like, what are you doing now? What are you gonna do now? You can go work dad's farm, you can go work in dad's hobby shop, or what are you gonna do? And for you, you said you went to college. You went to college and you got you a
Yeah.
couple of degrees now, is what you're saying.
No. I actually don't have. I'm a shit talker, and I don't take kindly to being fucked with. And so when there's something that goes on that gets me going, I won't stand still for it, even if it means putting my academic ambitions on hold, which I have for the last 7 years. When they fired Dr. Sue Sisley, I gave each and every one of those advisors and academic types on campus the bird. I also went and did the same to all the politicals in the state and the Board of Regents and other people who just chose to put their head in the sand and not address what was taking place on campus and whatnot. But there was some personal stuff that went down that had me feeling some kind of way. And so when it came down to it, I got one class left to go to finish my bachelor's degree. But I live less than a mile from campus.
No,
but I'm not going back until the situation's resolved. And we've proven our point that medical cannabis is a viable alternative to these pharmaceutical narcotics that are killing us.
Absolutely.
And putting us in mental straitjackets. And I'm here to spread the word that we don't have to tolerate that shit anymore.
Right. No,
right?
absolutely.
We don't have to tolerate that abuse anymore. And that goes along with the transition. Because if you're not in the right mental state to make certain decisions, the likelihood of you making the correct one is not very good. Right. So when you're in a mental straitjacket with a lot of these pills that they're putting people on, just willy-nilly, like off-label, this and that, not really giving a fuck what kind of side effects they're having, just take these and go away.
Right.
Either because they're overwhelmed, what have you. Right. Again, like the majority of the other services are great, but that one particular piece, that component is a fucking killer, dude.
No, absolutely.
So
absolutely. So like you said, like that's the whole reason I do the show. I do the Stone Vet because I'm breaking the stigma. I'm breaking the stigma of what cannabis can actually do and the medicinal benefits of cannabis. I've had one guy told me, he said, dude, I don't know if I could do cannabis. I said, why? He said, because one time I took like 3 bong rips and I was throwing up. I said, because it's medicine, dude. Like anything else, it's medicine. You abused it. I said, trust me.
Well, it's not for everybody.
It's not for everybody. It's not, what I'm saying? I said, I abuse the crap out of cannabis. I've done it. I read an article. It's like, has anybody ever thrown up after using cannabis? I say, who the hell throws up after using cannabis? I did. I abused it. I abused the crap out of it. And it freaking kicked me in the butt. And I was like, oh, I can never do that again. I cannot. But it's a medicine. That's what I try to tell people. I said, it's medicine. I said, just like any medication, when you go to the doctor's office, he's going to prescribe you a medication. And guess what? In 2 weeks, he's going to say, come back and tell me how it's working. Is it working for you? Is it not working for you? So they can adjust it. And I tell them, I said, it's the same thing with cannabis. You got to make sure you got the right terpene profiles. You got to make sure you got the right the CBD, CBC, CBG, CBNs. You got to make sure that you have the right balance in there so that you can get the necessities that you're trying to achieve with the plant. I said, you can't just go smoke weed and hope that everything goes away, because it's not going to. I said, some strains, you got certain strains that help certain ailments and other strains that help other ailments. And that's one of the biggest things that breaking the stigma is understanding what is the medicinal benefits of the plant. What kind of medicine is this, and how can it help with what I'm dealing with? You know, and you've gone above and beyond. You've gone above and beyond and wrote the green paper to let the VA know, hey, we need our medicine and you need to help us get our medicine instead of shoving pharmaceuticals down our throat the way you do. Because like we said, like we talked earlier, how many brothers and sisters are we losing to opioid addiction from all the freaking opioids the freaking VA continues pounding down our throat?
Well, and when they're mixed with alcohol and other things that don't really blend well together, it really does. It's an issue. Becomes a problem very quickly. It's been a problem for far too long, and it's been overlooked to the detriment of our brothers and sisters and us, really, because we still are fighting for access to this herb, to this God-given plant. And when it comes down to it, the reason the Veterans Action Council wrote this green paper, right? It's not just me. There's many other passionate, engaged, brave veterans from across the country who have been pushing this issue for a long time. And I'm really honored to be a part of the team and to have contributed my part in getting this on the record.
Right.
Because it is important to set the record straight.
Absolutely.
And to speak truth and facts, especially when engaging in discussion and debate over something of this nature.
A plant.
It's important for us to speak from an informed position.
Absolutely.
Lives on the line, right?
No, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, with the green paper, I've had the opportunity to review it, and like we talked before, it's a lot to digest. Like it's a lot of information that's out there. It's a lot to digest. Don't get me wrong, and a lot of people will get overwhelmed. But if you think this little paper is too much, how did you feel when they signed the stimulus bill? Did you see that freaking documentation they had for that? You know, so
Gonna get your show flagged.
you have to with us advocating for this plant, what you advocating for, you fighting for us veterans to let the VA know, hey, instead of killing us with pharmaceuticals on a daily basis, why don't you help us fight with Congress to legalize a freaking plant? It's like federally criminalizing you buying roses at 7-Eleven. You can buy a plant at 7-Eleven, right? But God forbid you go buy a freaking dime bag from the freaking dispensary because it's federally illegal. It's medicine. And that's one of the biggest things I'm fighting my job right now. I work for the government. I'm fighting them right now, left and right. And I'm like, this is BS, dude. This is medicine.
Yeah.
It's freaking medicine. Like you guys don't understand this. It's okay for guys to go out at lunch and have 3 to 4 beers and then come back and go to work, and it's okay. But God forbid,
that's not okay.
It's not.
It's
but God
not
forbid,
okay.
but God forbid, I go smoke a joint to relax to get ready for the second half of the shift. God forbid, I go smoke a joint to try to get my mind right so I can come back to work. Then that's you can't do that. That's federally illegal. And you're like, this dude just had 4 beers.
Right. And so there's a lot that needs to be discussed in our culture about what's accepted as normal and okay.
Right.
This green paper is something that, again, is meant to be a catalyst for open and honest dialogue based off of factual data,
right?
Precedent, historical context, so that together we can move forward into a time of healing, hopefully, because we've been engaged in constant warfare and negativity for far too long.
Absolutely.
And if there's anything that needs to be taken away from this discussion, is that we need to be better to each other, man.
No, we
That
do.
at the end of the day, that's it. We just fuck where you're coming from, what your political beliefs are, or what is in your medicine cabinet, or what you do for recreational
Right.
let loose time.
Right.
Right. We all share the same space.
Right.
And it's not okay to identify somebody because of something you don't like about them, and then use all of the power that you can come and bring to bear against those people that you don't like.
Right. No, absolutely.
And especially when you want it done to you.
Absolutely. No, I
No
absolutely
matter
agree with
what
you.
the issue is we're talking about, right?
No, absolutely. I agree with you. I mean, like I said, I do 2 episodes. I do my Wednesday episode for Veteran Trash Talk, and then I do my Friday episodes with you guys. My Wednesday episodes is my political standpoint on what's going on in our country right now with the crap that's going on. That a lot of people are closed. They got their eyes closed of what's going on, right? There's a lot of nonsense that goes on in our country. And like you're saying, why are we in the culture that we're in right now? Why does everybody want to cancel everybody out and nobody wants to hear anybody else to hear? I said, you're given 2 years. You're given 2 years, 2 eyes, and 1 mouth. I said, 90% of the time, you need to keep your mouth shut, open your eyes and open your ears and see why people are believing what they're believing in. It might enlighten you, be like, oh, okay, I get a better understanding of why you believe in what you believe in. For me, I want to hear it. Let me hear why you're believing what you're believing in. So maybe you can I can wake up and be like, oh, okay, I understand that now. But here, now listen to me. Give me the opportunity to tell you why I don't believe that. Give me the opportunity to tell you why I think this is wrong, why I'm against it. We don't have to agree with each other, but we're grown, we're adults. We can listen, we can have a good conversation. That's what's great about America, is that we can argue with
We would like to give a huge thanks to Rafa 180. Rafa 180 offers pure medicinal CBD and products made locally. They walk alongside individuals to achieve a healthy lifestyle with options needed by each person. You can learn more about them on Facebook at Rafa CBD, their website www.rafa180.com, or email at rafacbd@gmail.com. They truly believe your journey matters.
each other, but at the end of the day, we're still friends. We can still get along. I'm going to take care of you, you take care of me, but I mean, we can still have arguments against each other. And that's what's wrong with our country right now, is that there's so many people want to cancel everybody out. I was actually listening to a show earlier, and they're like, universities are actually going back into segregation. Like, they have segregation in the universities now. And I'm like, didn't we fight to stop segregation? Isn't that what we fought for back in the 60s? Isn't that what the ancestors fought for? Was that there wouldn't be no more segregation? And now everybody's fighting for segregation again? Like, what is going on? Why are we going back into segregation? And it's a lot of political things that are going on in our country that are being force fed to us, and a lot of people don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear, oh, no. But honestly, you're being force fed stuff. The media is going to tell you what they want to tell you, and it's up to you if you want to believe them or not. And when you get people like us, veterans, like, I ain't listening to that. It's like, why? Why is that? What is going on? Why are you guys telling me this? Let me do some research. Let me dig into some resources that I have to see if this is legitimate information or if this is just bunk information. You're just trying to force feed me some nonsense so that I can start following you guys, And it sucks. It really sucks, the culture we're in. And what I'm saying? Being an advocate for cannabis and fighting to say, hey, it's a plant. Let me have my medicine. Let me have my medicine. It's just a plant. It really is. It's a plant that grows outside like any other plant. It has its own terpene profile like any plant, like lilies and roses and lilacs. It has its own scent. It has its own terpene profile as to why it smells the way it smells and tastes the way it tastes. I mean, it's like any other plant. But yet, because the government said, "Oh, we don't like this. We can't make no money off of this. Let's criminalize it and make it a Schedule I drug equivalent to crack cocaine and heroin." You're like, how the hell does that even work like that, man? So with your green paper that you wrote, what is you and your organization with the Veteran Action Council? What is your hopes that come that you're trying to achieve with this green paper?
Well, what we're going to do is end the prohibition of cannabis, right? And we're also going to gain access to cannabis through the VA healthcare system, our healthcare system. What that looks like right now, I don't know. Nobody can tell you yet. We're working on it, right? But this green paper outlines in no uncertain terms a historical record based on fact, based off of court precedent that's ironclad. Well, as much as anything can be that the
Right.
powers that be don't like, they'll whittle away at it until it's gone.
Right.
But we're not going away.
Yeah.
We're not accepting the status quo any longer. And at the end of the day, we are going to use this as an instrument, as a tool to complete our task,
Absolutely.
which is to be our brother's keeper and sister's keeper, and to make sure that no one's left behind, right? And that we are following through on the commitment that we made to each other, regardless of whether or not anyone else is going to be there for us. We're there for each other, and we're pushing this issue through to the finish line. So we're working at a number of different levels to accomplish these goals.
Right.
This green paper, again, is just one of those visible pieces of this multifaceted campaign, but it's an important piece because it goes back to the start of the medical program in the country with
Right.
Robert Randall, with what it is that he went through. And then he goes into detail. He's deceased now. But this document that we included in the green papers from 1993, it was provided to the incoming Clinton administration, much like this document has been provided now to the incoming Biden administration. So it's a 30-year time capsule that should shock everybody that reads it on how tragically similar the narrative is today.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Right.
And that's the biggest thing.
And from there, I think any rational individual will be able to read the writing on the wall from there and decide for themselves what actions they need to take.
No, absolutely, absolutely. And like you said, man, not everybody's a cannabis fan. Not everybody, they still a lot of people have that stigma still. This the stigma that's been thrown at them and saying you can't cannabis is bad, cannabis is bad. I mean, hell, we went through it in the 90s, right? We're going to school in the 90s, remember, don't do drugs, talking about cannabis this, cannabis that, how bad it is, and you're just like, damn, are you kidding me? And now that we're grown, right? 30 years later, you said in the 90s when this thing was written before Clinton, right? During the 90s, the 30 years,
It was
and during the 90s, that's when we were in school, that's when they would tell us, the DARE program, don't do drugs and all this other stuff, and the biggest one was cannabis. The biggest thing was cannabis, saying that you can't, it's a bad drug and this and that. And you're just like, hold on, dude. Like now that we're 30 years later, we in our 30s, damn near 40 years old, we're just like, damn, dude, like we are fighting and the fight is strong now. Like when you get into it and you actually start seeing it, the things that you're doing, the things that Brian Buckley out of Hellman Valley Grow Company, the things that he's doing to get the research, to provide the documentation, the wording, the numbers back to Congress to let them know, look, you guys need to decriminalize this. Like it's a plan.
And so again, hopefully what people will understand when they read the green paper is that these actions are redundant.
Right.
It's a rat race that never ends.
Never ends.
The incessant give me research, while simultaneously ignoring any research that goes against what it is that they've already proclaimed is that, well, this has no medical value. It's Schedule 1. It doesn't belong anywhere near anybody doing anything for whatever.
Right.
It's dangerous, right?
Right.
That's the narrative.
Yeah.
While there's so much evidence to the contrary. There's our lived experience. And at the end of the day, I think the thing to focus on is, do we really love freedom, or do we just love to talk about it?
We just love to talk about it.
Do we really love personal rights and decisions and the ability to be the master of what goes into my body, or do we just like to pontificate and just that's a serious question.
No,
it's a serious question.
It is, especially right now, where we're at right now in our country, the way everything's going. It's like, is it really freedom? Do we really have the right? Do we really have the freedom that we feel as though that we do have? I mean, like you said.
And so think about that. Why? Because why are people asking that? Not because there's been a war on drugs, which is a war on you and me, that has just popped the prison and industrial complex off the charts, mass incarceration. We have more people incarcerated in our country than in any other country in the world, right? They're not pissed off about that. People are pissed off because they have to wear a mask and they can't go to their favorite restaurant and they can't see their favorite band and they can't go to their fucking sports game. That's what they're pissed off about. They're not up in arms about shit that actually matters.
Right.
They don't give two shits. If you tell them that they can take that mask off, if you tell them that they can go back about their business, they will give two shits about anything that has any relevance of actual importance to day-to-day life. They'll forget about it. Right. They don't care.
Right.
That's the culture we're in. So going back to how I came back from Iraq, it's the same shit. These people haven't changed. Don't think it's on us.
Yeah.
To take care of ourselves. Okay.
Right. Absolutely.
We need to educate as many of our brothers and sisters and people who have had the veil over their eyes, been in a fog for so long. There's some real shit that's been going down.
Absolutely.
Real shit that goes above and beyond just what it is that you're upset about today.
Right? No, absolutely, and that's the biggest thing. Like you said, we're trying to lift the veil off of the people that live in this country, right? We're free because of the people who fought for our freedom.
No, we're not. No, we're not. What did we fight for? I didn't fight for nobody's freedom. I didn't. Yeah. You can't put that label on me. You can't. I went to Iraq. I fucked some shit up over there. Like you said, we fucked some buildings up over there and whatever. Yeah. I came home. I didn't fight for anybody's freedom. Nobody's free because of the shit that I fought for over there, right? The work that I've been doing these last 7 years, trying to correct unjust laws, trying to address these persecutions that are taking place of our citizens and the precedents that's being set and established for other people to emulate across the world. And you see how that's going with Duterte and others who have execution orders on site for petty drug offenses and shit like that. That's our fucking legacy.
Right.
The war on drugs, all this, that's the real legacy. And then all this other work that we go out and do in Afghanistan and stuff like that, not knowing why people hate us or want fucking something to do to us or whatever. Seriously, we've been fucking around and doing a lot of people wrong. And we need to start cleaning up our house and telling truths here to each other and engaging in meaningful work.
Absolutely. That's what we need to continue fighting for, is continue, when they try to pull the wool over our eyes, but tell them, no, dude, like, that's wrong. You can't do that. Like, there's no reason. You can't do what the hell you're doing. Like, you guys are trying to cancel us out and you're trying to fucking make us fight against each other. And it's uncalled for. You're making us fight against each other on a regular basis. And a lot of people aren't seeing that. Like you said, they got the veil over their eyes, and you're just like, dude, I'm not here to fight you. I'm here to work with you. We're here to get this shit together so that, we have got to work together and get rid of the people who are trying to put us against each other. Those people.
love on purpose is something that was told to me by a dear friend of mine. And I think that's spot on, right? And I
Yeah.
try to emulate that and wake up with that on my mind, right? Even
Right.
even the people that are unlovable, even
Right.
them, because there's something in them
No,
that they're here,
absolutely.
right? And so even the most ardent prohibitionists out there, that's over my dead body kind of person when it comes to legalization. Like, I love them too. I think they're misguided. I would hope that someday that they would, be able to empathize with people's situation outside of their own, and maybe do some work to educate themselves on the issues that other people are facing outside of their own closed bubble belief of how the
Right.
world works. But it takes time. Rome wasn't built in a day, as
Right.
they say.
Right. Right. Right.
But it's the tinkerer's work, and there's far worse things that I could be doing with my time than dedicating myself to just this one little niche, this one little spoke
Right.
over, like, there's so, like we were talking about, like with employment, man, there's so many places to pick, so many places to fit in.
Right.
This is just one where I found I fit rather well.
You fit rather well in
And
it.
I'm kind of
Right, and
I'm in
that's
there
the
now.
biggest thing. That's the great part. I think the biggest thing is that one of the hardest things, like I told you earlier, I think one of the hardest things to being an advocate for cannabis is like, I've done my research, I'm gathering this information, but where do I go to fight for it? To say, hey, you work for me. Like, you go to a senator. Like, how do you reach out to your senator and say, hey, you're working for me? Let me show you something. This is why we need to legalize cannabis federally. I mean, how many states now in the US have cannabis either recreationally, adult use, or medicinal use?
Well,
I mean,
there's 36 states for, yeah, and then territories, and 16 states
territories,
recreation.
right? Out of the
Right.
50, out of the 50 states that we have, 36 of
Yeah.
them either have it adult use or medicinal use. But God forbid I leave my state where it's medicinal use and I go to another state where it's medicinal use, but I'm not a resident, and my ass get a fucking ticket or something because, hey, that's, you brought that from across state lines. And it's like, it's a flower. I can bring my damn Xanax, my Prozac. I can bring that with me. You know what I'm saying? If the doctor prescribes that, I can take that across state lines, and you ain't gonna question it because it's in my name. But God forbid, I take some cannabis from Arizona and bring it to Oklahoma. You know what I'm saying? Now it's gonna be now I'm gonna get in trouble because I brought something from out of state, and you're like, it's freaking medicine, dude. Like, seriously, you guys didn't say anything about my Xanax and my Prozac and all the other freaking muscle relaxers and everything else I got in my bag. you know,
Yeah. And they don't care.
they
They
didn't
don't
care.
care. And even with medical laws being the way they are, they don't care. They'll still arrest you. It's still a hazard. It's not recommended, right? Don't do it.
Right,
Um, it, you will find yourself in trouble if you're caught.
right,
But if you do, there's people like me that'll do our best to help you out, if we can, right? But the need shouldn't be there. We need to move beyond this.
right.
And when it comes down to it, there's this thing that calls for equal protection under the law.
Yeah,
And again, there's a lot of constitutional considerations that need to be made here, and some real grown-up kind of talk that needs to be done.
no,
But then
absolutely.
action needs to take place at the levels where it's appropriate. But we see one of the disheartening things for me is that you see people acting with absolute impunity, seemingly having just like complete discretion to do whatever it is that they want whenever they want. So they could remove language from bills, they could kill bills, like just arbitrarily sit on it, they could do whatever. It's it gives me a headache.
It's frustrating.
It makes
Yeah.
It makes me sick. It's frustrating. And for the average person trying to approach these senators, I really like even myself. I've tried to approach these people thinking that, you know, I've done something, right? I've reached a point where I can go and I can talk to these people, whatever. I've been doing good work, right?
Right.
No.
And that's what I'm saying.
No.
Like the average Joe walking off the street to go talk to a senator, he ain't gonna listen to you. He's gonna be like, "Who are you?"
Yeah, but
why
you know
are
what they
wasting my
told
time?
you know what they told me when I went in for one of these meetings, and there's been several. I've been laughed out of plenty of offices and patted on the head and pushed aside or whatever. I've had so many failures in this movement, I can't even count them. But one thing that stuck with me was this individual who I met with, and I was explaining these issues to. This is years ago. Just looked behind me, dramatic like, and was like, "But who's with you?" Right? It's like, what do you mean who's with me? I am a citizen of this shit. Like, I'm a veteran. I pay taxes. And like, you represent who's with me. Yeah, who's with you? Who else cares? We know you care, but you have to be able to demonstrate other people give a shit.
And that's
And
one
until
thing.
you do that, we don't give a shit.
No, and that's one thing. That's one thing I talked about in one of my episodes. Was like, you have somebody like you up there jumping around. Hey, look at me, look at me. This is what I'm fighting for. This is what I want. This is what I'm fighting for. But if you're doing it by yourself, it's like you said, I don't care. Who do you have with you? And that's what I tell people. I said, are you going to be that guy that jump up there with them and say, let's do this. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. I care. I care. I care. Who else is going to jump with me? Because now when you got two people, fuck, here comes the third one. Here comes the fourth one. Next time, before you know, you got 5,000 followers saying, hey, why are we not doing anything about this? And it's true. Like you said, you can go to a senator will be like, who are you? Why should I listen to you? Well, because you're my fucking senator and you represent me. I represent
That's
thousands
how we think.
I represent thousands of people. You're just one person that helped me get to where I'm at. Exactly. I'm the one person that helped you get where you're at. But now if I got me a following, if I got a huge following about, hey, we need to do something about legalizing the plant. Who do I need? What do I need? What kind of numbers do I need to show you that I'm an advocate and I have the following to help back this? What numbers are you needing from me to see? What numbers from me do you need to see to make this on your table so you can eat, so that we can all eat, you know? And it's big.
Well, yeah, re-election. Yeah.
You know,
re-election type numbers.
You want to be re-elected?
Numbers.
You know?
Yeah.
And that's the biggest thing. You want to be re-elected?
Again, it really is unfortunate to put it in those terms. Those are grotesque terms, right? But it's the truth of the matter. It really is. Like,
it is.
The meat of it that you need to understand, because it's not, however, if you were fortunate enough to receive a civics lesson, it's not how it goes down.
No.
Right?
It's politics. And everybody knows how dirty politics are. Everybody knows how dirty politics are, man.
Well, they think they do. They think they do, and then they get involved in the field, and then they start to find out pretty quickly. And then if they last long enough, then they can start to figure out how to make some maneuvers. But it's like coming into a fire hydrant trying to take a sip of water.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, full bore, like, I just need a drink. Right? Even fucking taking your face off. Yeah. But it is what it is. It's the nature of the beast, homie. And it's not going to change. It will not change. Greater people than I have come before and done their best and have died for this thing, for change, for their change. Right. And so I'm not fool enough to think that me, that's why, like, when he told me, I just kind of like, well, wait, there's more of us. I just didn't bring them to the meeting. You know what I mean? Just fucking
right.
You know what I mean?
There's more of us.
Wait one. Yeah, there's more. There's more of us. Just wait. So that's where we're at now. Like, we're at the more of us stage, because there are more of us.
There are.
And if you feel like you're the only one in your community, be brave. think of it like you're at a concert and nobody wants to dance yet, and you really want to dance. Get your ass up and dance, because sooner or later, somebody's going to pay attention. You know what? I like to dance. If I saw you dancing, I'd probably go dance with you.
Right.
And
Absolutely.
if more people see people dancing, all of a sudden you have a dance party.
Absolutely. And that's the biggest thing. That's what I try to tell people. That's what I stressed about on one of my shows. That's what I told him. I said, are you going to be that guy to go up there with the guy by himself that's doing it by himself? You start doing it. It's like I said, people look at you. If you're looking up at the sky, nobody going to do anything. But if your buddy walk up next to him, he start looking at the sky, more people going to start looking up towards the sky to see what's going on, right? You advocating for cannabis. You start advocating, you start getting more people. More people start, well, yeah, I believe in that. I believe in that. I believe in that. Before you know, you're going to have a movement. And when you have your movement,
to put it in,
you know what I'm saying? You put your movement out there and you tell that senator, hey, what are we doing? Why have you not voted for this? Why have you not voted yes for this? You do understand that the 100,000 people I got following me can elect you, or can either take you out of office and get the right person in there to put their vote in, or we can re-elect you and make sure you stay in office. And if you put your yes vote in for us.
That's what America's about.
Well, this has been a great time, man. I appreciate you coming on the show and hanging out with us and just telling us about what you're doing, man. Like I said, you're making movements. You're making movements in the cannabis industry for the veteran community with this whole green paper. I mean, like I said, it's good. It's definitely a good read. And it's to let people know, hey, look, this is why veterans are fighting for cannabis. I'm tired of taking pharmaceuticals. I'm tired of freaking pharmaceuticals all day long because of the crap that the government gave me. They sent me to war. And now I have dreams and I have these nightmares and I'd have emotional issues and all this other crap that I deal with, and I can't work with other people. And I have a hard time in my relationship with my wife and my kids and stuff like that, or whatever, my spouse and my kids, that I'm screwed up because the government, where they sent me and what they told me I had to do, For me, cannabis has been a lifesaver for me, because even my family will tell you, it's like, dude, I love when you're high. Like my kids tell me, I love when you're high, Dad, because you're so chill and just relaxed and just a good time to be around. And I was like, it's the medicine. It's the medicine that helps me deal with the crap that I deal with. I deal with a lot of daily issues. You know what I'm saying? Just being a regular human being, you deal with different things, with work, with finances, with everything. You deal with certain things, and guess what? Those are triggers, and it can frustrate the crap out of you. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, a lot of people like to go grab a glass of wine or a glass of liquor, a beer, whatever. Hey, if that's what you like, that's on you. I don't care. I don't like waking up hungover. I don't like the feeling of being hungover. For me, I like to be able to go smoke a dab, smoke me a blunt, or whatever the case may be. Because within a few hours, I'm gonna feel a lot better. I'm not gonna be hungover. I'm not gonna be all groggy or just feeling gross. I'm taking my medicine. I'm gonna feel good while my medicine's working. And then when my medicine wears off, I'm like, okay, let's go back to work. Let's go do what we need to do. It's not going to stop me from doing work, unless I get me a nice indica where I'm just like, I ain't doing nothing the rest of the day, get you that nice indica where you're like, I ain't doing nothing the rest of the day. I'm good. But like I said,
that's all I smoke.
The indica, right? That's me. I'm a big indica. I love anything purple. That's what I tell people. They say, what do you like? Anything purple. Just give me anything purple. I'm good. Purple, And so, but that's the biggest thing, is breaking the stigma. That's the biggest thing, is breaking the stigma. I mean, with the era that we're in now, a lot more people are fighting for cannabis. Like you said, 36 states have it. With the states and territories, they have cannabis, regardless if it's medicinal or adult use. It's there. And you shouldn't be frowned upon. You shouldn't be punished if you happen to cross state lines with the medicine. You know what I'm saying? Especially if they have it in their state as well, and just like, wow, Lee, I say it's the same freaking. And I know with the green paper, that's some of the language that you had in there in regards to that, with veterans being able to take their medicine across state lines if they need to take medicine, right?
Well, the fact of the matter is that we're federal patients. We receive our care through a federal system, which is the VA healthcare system. And for those of us who are rated at, like myself, 100%, we are eligible to receive 100% of our healthcare through the VA. And when there is this medical treatment that is available, that we have to go and pay extortion fees to certain state and have our certifications and gain access to our medication out of pocket, right? And then we don't even get protection from persecution when we go to travel to, say, visit our family or take a vacation, do some R&R, maybe explore the country that we fought for allegedly. These things do not compute, again, to a freedom-loving society that we purport to be. So if it's free for one class, it's free for everybody. Or nobody at all.
Absolutely, absolutely. Like I said, guys, the green paper, he's got some good information in there. Like I said, it's good information. Like you're saying, like being able to travel with your medication, dude. Like you said, why can't we travel? We are federally, I mean, the government, the VA provides us medical benefits, right? For all of us veterans that have fought for it, that has fought for this country. Hey, it's your medicine, right? Why isn't the VA prescribing me medication that can actually benefit me and not worry about destroying my intestines and destroying my insides? Why can they provide me actual medicine that's actually good for me, that can actually heal me from my ailments? And you're making movements, you're doing your thing there in Arizona, and then you publish this for the Veteran Health Administration overall, the VA, for everyone, right? Not just for Arizona, not just for the VA,
so
but everywhere, right?
Yeah. So the Action Council, I'm in Arizona, but we have the Veterans Action Council has members in California, in Texas, Colorado, Michigan, Virginia, New York, Ohio, Alaska, Florida, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? We're all over the place.
Right.
3 degrees of separation, you'll find us. And then, so it was one of those things where we have legitimate concerns from the veteran specific community with the VA, right, which is our healthcare provider.
Right.
But this document that we put together is really the position of the medical patient,
right?
The medical cannabis patient, and we just happen to be one component of that narrative. It goes into the how the program started, where the government was providing cannabis to certain patients.
I remember
it goes
that.
into how it expanded, how certain individuals had to fight to gain access to medical cannabis. It's important for the medical cannabis patient community.
Absolutely. So, I mean, like I said, man, this paper's got all kinds of great information in it just to show you, because actually, I think I was just reading an article about the lady that was part of that cannabis program that they had. And she said their freaking cannabis went to crap. She's like, I think they've switched it over to hemp versus actual THC,
That's gotta be LV. You were talking LV?
Yeah. And so I was like, well,
LV's shit. I love LV. Big hug, LV, if you're watching this. Big hug.
Right. And I was
awesome.
like, wow. I said, that's crazy to think that. But I was like, yeah, it was a program. They got into the program and the government was sending them weed. Was it on a monthly basis, right? Was that what it was? Like on a monthly basis, they sent them a tin of weed of pre-rolls once a month. And I was like, man, imagine being in that program. Like, how do you get into a program like that? Like, it's there. Like,
that's what we're going to create. The work that we're doing is, the intention is to essentially create that program through the VA.
Right. And it should be like that. It should be like that. It should be.
It absolutely should be like that.
I mean, it should be like that for us veterans that need it, that it helps with, and then that it helps with
anybody.
Anybody, they should be able to take their medicine wherever they want to go. I mean, you don't get in trouble for taking Prozac or Xanax or anything across straight lines. So why get in trouble for taking a joint across,
that would reach for probably a little bit more close to home for some people is, if you had to take be told to leave your heart medication.
Right. You can't take your heart medication across state lines.
I'm sorry, that's illegal over here.
Right. You're like, wait, what do you mean I can't take my heart medicine across state lines,
And so again, if you feel if that applies to you, or if you feel like if you have your Xanax or whatever, and your automatic response is like, oh, well, fuck that, I would be pissed. Well, then you should understand the situation that
same thing
patients like us are in.
that love
Yeah.
cannabis, that use cannabis on a regular basis. You're
That's
coming to
what
the end, man.
yeah.
What you want to leave these guys with? What kind of hope and dreams you want to leave these guys, leave our brothers and sisters with?
Oh, I'm not really the one to come to for hopes and dreams. And we're in a sticky situation, gents, the ladies. We're in a tough spot. We're in a tight spot, and I'm just I'm grateful to be able to get up and do what it is that I do every day, and I don't take it for granted. I don't think that the people watching this should either. And I
Right.
think that you should ask yourself what it is that's within your power to do, because it's going to take more than just me, really more than just the council that's here at the Veterans Action Council, even though we're amazing, right? We've
Right.
done a lot of work. I'm proud of my council members. Each one of them have sacrificed, again, a lot for people that they'll never meet. And those are the kind of people that I choose to hang around with now in my life, right?
Right.
People that give more than they take. And so search within yourselves, man. Like, those are questions that each individual has to ask themselves, what they can do, what they should be doing, what's within their power to do. But if you want to get more information on what it is that we're doing, you can find us at veteransactioncouncil.com, right? We have, I think our roundtable is next week, every other Friday.
Every other Friday.
So, yeah, but you can check the website. They'll be popped up there, stored. We have a blog section. You could read the green paper. You could check up and learn more about the council members and stuff like that. And reach out to us if you're a vet and you want to get involved and you want to come to some of our meetings and stuff. We have meetings every week. We'd love to have you.
Absolutely.
Reach out.
Absolutely. And like you guys know, I'll have all the information down there in the description box down below. I have all the information for how to reach out to the Veteran Action Council to, like I said, man, you got to let your voices be heard. You got to make sure that you don't live this life that you've been living here for however long and you didn't get your voice heard. Like nobody heard you. You know, you don't want that. You don't want to be that person that said, damn, I wish I would have. What if I would have, right? I mean, we already have enough stress that we have going on in our life every day. And you don't want to be that. You don't want to get to that point where it's like, what if I would have? You know, what if? Because that shit will eat you up alive, you know? I appreciate it, Rico. I appreciate you. I appreciate what you're doing in our community. Like I said, guys, every Friday I bring somebody that's making a difference in our community. We have our brothers and sisters and they're doing things. Are you going to be out there and help support them? Are you going to be that second guy jumping with them, letting them be heard so that you can have a movement going with them? Right? Every day, every Friday I bring somebody new on that's doing something in the community to help us find our purpose again. Because that's the biggest struggle that we have, you know. We're trying to eliminate the 22 a day. That's the biggest goal, is to eliminate the 22 a day. I'm tired of losing a brother and sister every day. It sucks. You know, I may not know who they are, but they still my brother and sister. They signed that damn dotted line that I signed and said, hey, I'll take a bullet for your ass. When you got your back turned and that guy's behind you, I'm gonna take him out because I saw him and you didn't. You know, we signed that dotted line. We said we took that oath, and that oath never dies, right? We all say it. That oath never dies. Yeah, I signed that fucking oath. I signed that damn dotted line and said, yeah, I'll defend this country against all enemies, foreign and domestic. And it goes to heart. A lot of people they take it to heart, you know, and it means a lot. And so I appreciate it, Rico. I appreciate you coming out, hanging out with me here on the Stone Vet, enjoying some time together, having that camaraderie. You know what I'm saying? You know what it's like. You're like, damn, I miss having a brother around to be able to bullshit with and just hang out with and just de-stress a little bit, you know? This is why I do the show every Friday, guys. So you guys got somebody to hang out with. You can hear that familiar voice like, damn, who's he got today? Who's he got today? We'll get big eventually. We're getting there. Our numbers are growing every day. I got new subscribers every day. Continue sharing this with everybody, man. I appreciate you guys hanging out with us. I appreciate it, Rico. You taking time out of your day to come hang out with us. Remember, guys, here at the Stone Vet, we got your six.
Chillax. It's Friday. You ain't got a job. We gon' get high today. Dark of the flesh, the deep of the roots, green of the weed. You know it's true. Puff, puff, pass. Trying to get high. Got high blood pressure. We coming down. Good smoke. Please numb me down. Went to rehab. I'ma act now. I'm a